So Jordan Brand just announced their entire holiday sneaker lineup, and I've got to say, I'm stoked.
Hey, dude.
What's up, everybody? I'm Seth Fowler, and this is Weekly Heat. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell down below if you haven't yet. And also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at @RealSethFowler. So I know I haven't done a Weekly Heat in a while, but that's mainly because I'm really thinking about changing this series up. I feel like it's better suited to like a live streaming sort of situation. I feel like it might be a better series for that sort of setup or that sort of template. So that's sort of the direction that this series is moving. But I haven't totally made up my mind yet, and I'll let you guys know generally what I decide when I decided, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But with all the Jordans that were officially announced with Jordan Brand's holiday lineup coming out, I wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about it and find out what you guys thought about some of these releases. And of course, because this is a weekly heat, or I guess just heat at this point because it hasn't been weekly in a while, we're also going to talk about some other sneakers that are coming out and some release dates that have been pushed. So starting things off, let's talk about the highly anticipated Off-White Air Jordan 2s. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this sneaker collaboration and the fact that this is an Off-White Air Jordan 2 that comes in two different colorways, a white and red colorway and a black and blue colorway. There's been so much debate about this sneaker, whether people like it, whether they don't, whether they like Air Jordan 2s, how long they've liked Air Jordan 2s, if they're real Air Jordan 2 OGs. I think it's all kind of corny, it's all kind of stupid, but it's fine. That's just my opinion on it. I don't love the Air Jordan 2 overly. I also don't hate the Air Jordan 2. It's a fine silhouette, there's nothing wrong with it, and I think this collaboration is just the off-white treatment on that shoe. That being said, if you were looking forward to grabbing a pair of the Off-White Air Jordan 2s, unfortunately you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer because both of these colorways have been pushed back. Originally, these shoes were slated to release at the end of September, but it looks like now Jordan Brand has pushed these sneakers back to November. For some reason, they just keep pushing things back and back and back, and I'm assuming it's supply chain issues, probably due to COVID, but I have no idea. They're not gonna come out and tell us either, so we'll just have to guess forever. Regardless, the Off-White Air Jordan 2s are getting pushed back to November whether we like it or not, and the tentative release date for these sneakers seems to be November 12th. So there you go, now you've got 2 more months to buy a bunch of Air Jordan 2s before you grab the Off-White Air Jordan 2s to make it look like you're an Air Jordan 2 collector. Next up, we finally have a release time frame for the next sneaker collaboration that Solehi Bembry is leaving his fingerprint on. That was a rough one. That was not great. And of course, I'm talking about the Solehi Bembry Crocs collaboration that looks like an inverted fingerprint. Now, I've actually talked about this shoe a lot, and I've got to say, I actually really love it. I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of Crocs, and I love the sort of weird futuristic aesthetic that shoes like the Yeezy Foam Runners have, so this shoe is just a perfect amalgamation of both. Also, I actually really like everything that Solehi Bembry has been putting out recently, so it makes sense that I would be in love with this sneaker. People always give me crap for calling Crocs sneakers in the comment section. I understand why. I'm just so used to saying sneakers because all we talk about in this channel are sneakers. So in addition to the Solehi Bembry Crocs looking wild and almost absurd, turns out they're coming out in 2 different colorways. The white colorway that has already been teased, and also an olive colorway. And of course, the information you've been waiting for, if you've been waiting for this sneaker collaboration, it looks like these shoes will finally be releasing in December. Which, to be honest, is a little bit longer than I would have liked to have waited to grab these shoes, or clogs, or whatever they are, but it is what it is. Speaking of brands that Solehi Bembry has collaborated with, it looks like New Balance is coming out with a new version of the 990 V3. And by new version, I don't mean like new version of the shoe, I just mean new colorway of the sneaker. So if you've been following New Balance recently, you know that they've been leading up to the 990 V6 release next year with new made versions of the original 990s. These made 990 versions are sort of remade versions of the sneakers that are made in the United States and also feature more premium materials and also come in sort of an original gray color. And so far, this treatment has been done on the 990 V1 and the 990 V2s. But in continuing with the path towards the 990 V6, it looks like the 990 V3 is the next shoe receiving that treatment. And out of all the versions of the 990s that have released, I think the 990 V5 is the most comfortable in my opinion, but the 990 V3 is the best looking. So while I missed out on the new versions of the 990 V1s and got a size that wasn't my size in the 990 V2s, I will definitely be going for my size in the 990 V3s. And the good news is it looks like we won't have much longer to wait to grab this sneaker because apparently the 990 V3 made is releasing sometime in September, which is this month. Next up, it looks like Jordan Brand is releasing a metallic gold laser etched version of the Air Jordan 1s. So unfortunately, at least in my opinion, this version of the Air Jordan 1 is not the standard Air Jordan 1 High, it's the Air Jordan 1 Comfort or Air Jordan 1 CMFT. I just wish the CMFT just looked like a standard pair of Air Jordan 1s and just featured like a hidden air unit. I don't know why they had to make it like this whole new sneaker that costs more and looked worse. It is what it is, but it looks like later this year, Jordan Brand is releasing a metallic gold version of this shoe featuring laser etched details and a blue Nike swoosh. Now there are rumors that this shoe might be a League of Legends collaboration or maybe just inspired by League of Legends. I've never played LoL. I had roommates in college back in 2010 that played LoL. I was never really that into it. It's an interesting concept, it's just not my thing, and it looks like this shoe is releasing sometime in 2021. Sticking with the Air Jordan 1 theme, it looks like the next piece of news is that Jordan Brand is releasing a Goretex version of the Air Jordan 1s. So these Jordan 1s come in an almost Shadow 1 colorway and feature gray accents on the heel and on the Nike swoosh. A majority of the upper comes in a black color and it looks like it's split between a Goretex material and a suede material. Now what's interesting about that is that because the shoe isn't entirely Goretex, is it weatherproof or water resistant? I'm not sure. Of course, the shoe features the Goretex branding on the lateral side of the heel, just so you know that this is the Goretex Air Jordan 1s. And while it may look like a standard pair of 1s from a distance, if you get up close, you can tell that there's definitely some sort of nylon style Goretex material on the sneaker. As of right now, there is no official release date for the Goretex Air Jordan 1s just yet, but it does look like they're releasing sometime in November, which is perfect because it's just in time for winter. But now I want to dive into the recently announced Jordan fall lineup. Obviously, this fall lineup doesn't feature every Jordan that will release in this time frame because Jordan Brand likes to keep a couple sneakers up their sleeves, but it does confirm a lot of the rumors that we've been talking about for months at this point. So let's start things off with the women's Air Jordan 1 High OG Bubblegum. So this is actually a shoe that we talked about in previous weekly heats. It's a shoe that looks a lot like the Art Basel Air Jordan 1s from a couple years ago, except it comes with sort of dark blue paneling on the upper instead of black paneling, and it also features an interesting bubblegum hit on the outsole. But I've got to say, even though these shoes are not exactly like the Art Basels and the tone of pink is a little bit different, this shoe is fire nonetheless. We don't get a lot of good pink Air Jordan 1s, and I think this is one of the best that we've ever seen. I just wish it wasn't a women's Air Jordan 1. I mean, I understand why it is, but at the same time, I really want a pair, and women's Jordan 1s are cut a little bit differently, like a little bit more narrow, and I don't really love the way that they feel compared to a standard pair, but it is what it is. I'm probably going to still end up buying this pair anyway. And apparently, if you want to grab a pair of the Air Jordan 1 Bubblegums for yourself, they should be releasing on December 22nd. Following that up with another women's release, we've got the women's Air Jordan 5 Bluebird, which is a suede Air Jordan 5 that comes in a light blue. It actually reminds me a lot of the Trophy Room 5s, except the tone of blue is a little bit different. The midsole of the shoe comes in like a dark teal color, accented by metallic silver, which I actually really like, as well as a semi-translucent blue outsole, which will definitely yellow over time. It's definitely not a bad look. I actually like that shade of blue a lot. I also think the shoe would look really great on my wife, but not so much me. If you want to grab a pair of these Air Jordan 5s for yourself, they release on October 7th. Sticking with the women's Air Jordan trend, we've got the women's Air Jordan 14 Low Shocking Pink, and I think the name Shocking Pink is a perfect descriptor because this shoe is shockingly pink. It's an okay looking sneaker. For some reason, Jordan Brand has been releasing a couple different pairs of women's Air Jordan 14s in the low top variant. Not sure exactly why. We just had the lipsticks drop, or will have the lipsticks drop. Not a bad sneaker, just definitely not for me. After that, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Handcrafted. So this shoe actually leaked a while ago. I think we started to see renders of this shoe back in like April or May. It's pretty much exactly what we expected. The renders were pretty much exactly on point. I think it's because there was images of the shoe already out. As the name would suggest, it features a handmade look, and I think the way they gave it a handmade look was by giving it two-tone laces and a stitched on wings logo, which is fine. It reminds me a lot of the Tokyo pair that released last year. I forget exactly what the name of that shoe was. Not exactly a fan of it. I love Jordan 1s, but it's a little too much for me. I like standard pairs of Jordan 1s. I like crazy shoes when they are meant to be crazy. A Jordan 1 for me, I think should be a more simple, classic looking shoe like a Dunk. But a shoe that looks like this, just to look like this, is not really my thing. And I also don't like how they split the midfoot panel into a separate white and gray area. I feel like that's a little bit too much, but just my own personal opinion. If you want to grab a pair of the handcrafted Air Jordan 1s for yourself, which are anything but handcrafted, they release on December 19th. Next up is the banger of the collection. I probably should have saved it for the end, but it is what it is. This shoe I've been waiting for since 2016, except maybe not in this exact variant, but it is what it is. The Air Jordan 1 High OG Patent Bred. So if you guys know me, you know that the Bred Air Jordan 1 is my favorite sneaker of all time, without question. And so to be getting another pair of Bred Air Jordan 1s about 5 years after the last pair that came out is pretty exciting. Now, unfortunately, it's a patent leather version, which is like my least favorite kind of Air Jordan 1, but at the end of the day, it is still the Bred Air Jordan 1, and I'm still going to buy multiple pairs like I have with every other Bred Air Jordan 1 because I love the shoe and I love the color blocking. Now, I'm not going to lie, maybe it's just the fact that I'm like blinded by the love of Bred Jordan 1s, but there's something about the shine that this patent leather Jordan 1 has that for some reason I don't seem to see on any of the other patent leather Jordan 1s. It's just, this is totally just my own bias. It looks fire. It looks sick. Would I take it over a standard pair of Bred 1s? Absolutely not. Seriously, super, super sick. And apparently they feature a metallic red Jumpman hang tag, which is actually really sick. Sticking with Jordan 1s, we've got the Air Jordan 1 High OG Bordeaux. So this shoe definitely has sort of a Co.JP vibe to it. Very similar to the navies, except instead of having navy panels, it has like a dark maroonish purple panel. I'm actually kind of a fan of this shoe. I wish that the Nike swoosh was the same maroon color as the rest of the shoe, but it is what it is. It creates, I guess, some contrast there. It's a dope looking sneaker, but unless I get it for retail, I'm not going to spend the money on it. Maybe for a review, but that's about it. It also apparently comes in grade school and extended sizing for women. So there you go. You can have the whole family outfitted in Bordeaux Jordan 1s, which is kind of nice. Next up is the Air Jordan 3 Pine Greens. So these shoes come in sort of a black cement colorway, except trading out some of the grays and some of the red panels for pine green. And to be honest, it's actually a very, very clean Air Jordan 3. Can't tell if that's nubuck or if that's standard tumbled leather. It actually kind of looks like nubuck. I don't really like nubuck 3s. I prefer leather, but it is what it is. The sneaker features a primarily black upper with elephant print on the toe and on the heel. You've got your green accents like I mentioned, and then of course you've got a white midsole and a white tongue. Definitely not a bad looking sneaker. Would have preferred some different materials, but it is what it is. And if you're looking to grab a pair of the Pine Green 3s, they should be releasing around Halloween on October 30th. Continuing on with Air Jordan 3s, we've got the Air Jordan 3 Camo. So this is actually a shoe that we talked about a little while back in a weekly heat, and at the time we didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. We knew it was going to have multiple camo patterns sort of plastered onto the upper of the shoe, but we didn't know it was going to look like this. And I'm going to be real with you guys, I thought it was going to look a lot worse, but it actually looks kind of clean. So again, like the other Air Jordan 3s that we just talked about, it does not feature a standard leather upper. In fact, the paneling on the upper of this shoe has changed up pretty dramatically. They've added some paneling where there isn't usually paneling. And it also looks like they're not really using any leathers on the shoe. It looks like they're using primarily suedes, nubucks, ripstop, maybe some canvas. Interesting look for sure. I also kind of dig the green and brown tones that they're using. I don't really dig the camo portions of the shoe, which is kind of the namesake of the sneaker, but I think the overall like sort of forest woodsy effect that this shoe has, it's pretty fire. I'm genuinely surprised by that. I really thought I was going to hate this sneaker. It's definitely not something that I would run out to the store and grab, but if I can grab it on the sneakers app, I'm not going to be mad about it. After that is the Air Jordan 5 Jade Horizon. So this shoe is sort of like a pea soup colored Air Jordan 5 with a white tongue and a black midsole and age details on the outsole and on the lace eyelets. I wonder why they did that. I'm not usually a fan of fake oxidation. I feel like it's a little bit corny, but I don't hate it, and I actually think it ties in with the colorway of the shoe pretty well. So I'm not mad at it, and it's also a pretty popular thing to do right now after Virgil did it, so now everyone's doing it. Makes sense that Jordan Brand themselves would do it. Not a bad looking sneaker, and it should be releasing on December 4th. After that, we've got one of the first Air Jordan 9s to release in a while in the chili red colorway. So this Jordan 9 comes in pretty much entirely red and features a material on the upper that kind of looks like a, almost like a neoprene. I don't know what that is. It's not leather. It's a pretty much all red Air Jordan 9. It features a black outsole and black accents around the lace eyelets. That's about it. Don't really know anything else about this sneaker. Not for me, but it releases on November 6th if you're into it. Next up, we've got the Air Jordan 12 Royalty. So this shoe looks a lot like a lot of other pairs of Air Jordan 12s, but to be honest, I'm not mad about it because it's a clean looking sneaker. The upper of the shoe comes in white leather, accented by black on the mudguard and on the midsole and outsole, and then the entire shoe is rounded off with gold hits on the midsole and on the lace eyelets. I mean, if you love 12s and you want a pair that kind of looks like a pair of taxis or looks like the Wings 12s that released a couple years back, this is a great pair to go with, and it releases on November 13th. Continuing on, we've got the Air Jordan 13 Court Purple. So this is almost a standard pair of Air Jordan 13s, except instead of red, you've got purple, and it actually looks really clean. Now, I know you guys are just waiting for me to make that obligatory Ravens reference because, you know, I'm a Ravens fan. But no, it looks like a Raven shoe and I love it. I don't know if I'm going to grab this shoe. It comes in full family sizing, so I literally could outfit myself, my wife, and future kids, if we ever have them, in this shoe and go to Ravens games. And now that I'm thinking about it, I might actually have to buy it. The shoe releases on December 29th, halfway through the season. Nice looking pair of sneakers. Really didn't think I was going to be that into it, but I am. And then the final shoe that Jordan Brand announced in the holiday 2021 lineup is the Jordan 14 Winterized. So for some reason, Jordan Brand has been releasing winterized versions of their sneakers. I don't know why, they're never that popular. We had the Air Jordan 4 Winterized from last year. We had the Air Jordan 12 Winterized this year and like 3 years ago. We just talked about the Goretex Air Jordan 1s, and now we have the Air Jordan 14 Winterized. It's fine. I don't know what else to say about it. If you're looking for a water-resistant pair of 14s, which who really is? I don't know. Comes out on October 16th for $200 if you want to grab it. But that's that. That's the entire list. I really wish I had ended on the breads because that would have been a much stronger finish. But that pretty much wraps up Weekly Heat for this week. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on all of the stories that we covered in today's video, so make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Also, let me know what you think of the new plant that we got in the background. I felt like that space was empty and it just needed something, and I hope the plant's the right move. Otherwise, it's going to go in the office, I guess, or somewhere that you guys can't see it. But make sure to let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.